Dear friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Piece of Peace. Today, let us look into the development of a fetus during the first month. In the first month, a fertilized cell transforms into a tiny embryo with the foundations of the brain, spinal cord, heart, and the placenta already in place. By the end of week 4, the heart is beginning to form and the neural tube that will become the brain and spinal cord is closing. Imagine this. In just 1 month after conception, a single cell has already organized itself into a blueprint of a complete human body. Week 1 starts at the fertilization. The egg and the sperm fuse to form a zygote, a single cell carrying a brand new genetic code, half from the mother, half from the father. This cell begins rapid divisions, becoming a solid ball of cells called a morula, then a hollow ball called blastocyst as it travels down the fallopian tube. Around days 6 to 7, this blastocyst reaches the uterus and starts to implant into the uterine lining. Some cells become the inner cell mass, which will form the embryo, while the outer layer becomes the trophoblast, which will help form the placenta. Now, in week 2, implantation is completed and the early support systems develop. The amniotic sac begins to form around the embryo, creating a fluid filled cushion. At the same time, the placenta starts to develop as a specialized organ that will deliver oxygen and nutrients and remove waste products from the growing embryo. Week 3 is a turning point called gastrulation. The flat disc of cells reorganizes into 3 layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. From these layers, every major structure will arise. Ectoderm will form the brain, spinal cord, and the skin. Mesoderm will form the heart, muscles, and bones. Endoderm will form the gut and the many internal organs. By the end of week 3, the neural plate folds to form the early neural tube, the structure that will become the brain and the spinal cord. At the same time, cells in the mesoderm form paired blocks called somites along the back, which are early building units for the spine and skeletal muscles. The heart is also one of the very first organs to take shape. In the 3rd to 4th week, 2 endocardial heart tubes fuse into a single primitive heart tube, and the primordial cardiovascular system begins to form. Visible heart contractions and a very early heartbeat can be detected around day 28 after conception, although clinically it is usually seen only a bit later on ultrasound. By week 4, the embryo is only a few millimeters long, smaller than a grain of rice, but incredibly complex. The neural tube continues to close, laying down the foundation for the brain and the spinal cord, while the early heart tube is starting to loop into more recognizable cardiac shape. The placenta and amniotic sac are now functioning as a life support system, providing protection, nutrients, and hormonal signals that influence both physical and later psychological development. So, in just the first month, before many people even realize they are pregnant, the core architecture of the nervous system, heart, and support organs is already underway. This is why early prenatal care and adequate folate intake are emphasized so strongly to support proper neural tube closure and reduce the risk of serious defects. So, thank you very much for your patient listening. We will meet again in the next episode for the second month. Thank you.